all I got was a French tip, and they charged me 70.
What?
Yeah, I've seen that, I've
They
seen that a
charged me
lot.
70 for an orange French tip.
They did that to my daughter.
And then I was like, okay, cool. Okay, maybe it's gonna be like good. And then 2 days later, my nail broke.
Oh, you got it cheap.
And I was like, come on.
My girl.
And then they did my pedicure. And he was so right. I had to tell him, stop that. You're not finna mess up my feet. Don't do me like that. Listen, I'm very nice until you start doing stuff like that. I don't mess with that.
I'm sorry, Josiah.
I don't do that. Well, everybody gets a pedicure. Everybody needs to get a pedicure. That's men included. Y'all can go ahead and get y'all a manicure too. We like clean nails.
I'm not a manicure person, but I will get a pedicure.
As long as your nails clean.
How you feel about the moles? Like, you know,
I don't care.
Okay, how y'all feel about the boys with the clear coat and they get like the design?
I know, it's not too much. If you too much coat, your nails glossy, cool. That means your nails clean. But the design, that's on you if you want the design. I personally don't want my man to do the
Alright. Let's get this started. Sorry to get y'all out of here.
unless you put my initial one, and I don't want nothing.
Let's get it started before I get you, so I can get you out of here. We went over the systems of government, did we not?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think we would have.
We were
We went over the
totalitarian.
system of unitary, federal.
Yeah, we didn't do this, but we did like the
the one with
monarchy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we did all that. Yeah, we did all too much stuff, and we stopped there.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
I think you glad.
Huh?
Is that a stretch if they think you glad or something? Cause it's all the way hot. And if it's gonna be like this the rest of the semester, it's gonna be even hotter than it.
Dear, trust me, this is the coolest it's ever been.
The
That's
facts.
only because that's winter break. When the AC ain't working, then that's not.
And
This is the coolest this room has been ever.
It's
it feels so good outside.
Yeah, enjoy it because on the weekend.
I heard it's supposed to snow on the weekend.
No, we're gonna get out. We gonna get out. Yeah, we know you're running hot. Because I'm running hot right now because I worked out this morning, so I know how you feel. Plus, you are sitting down. I'm up here, all the heat's up here. And I got all this shit.
7 feet tall or something.
So it's done.
It's not even a cold.
All right. This is how we do it. How you doing?
Good.
This is my girl right here. Always love the Southwest Oklahoma girls. I got much love for them. All right, we went over the different types of government. Now we're gonna go over the systems of government, and it helps you understand your state better. The different systems of government, which you guys should remember from your US government class, fourth one, are unitary, federal, and confederate. Believe it or not, the United States was a confederacy. Now it consists of elements of both federal and unitary. And let me go through this right quick for you, so we can talk about the big things that come up. A unitary system of government is the most common system of government. The United Kingdom has the best example of a unitary system of government. A unitary system works by having a strong central government in control of all government services throughout the country. Unitary systems are very efficient and respond quickly to the needs of society. Every state in the union is a unitary system of government. Even though you got cities and counties and special districts within a state, at the end of the day, the legislator controls everything within that state, and the governor is the one who will execute what the legislature passes. And to be quite honest, the governor of a state has almost dictatorial powers, because the governor can order almost anything through an executive order in the state, according to the constitution of that state. So a unitary system, that's why states can be more efficient, because you can have maybe one legislator or one person dictating how that state should run. Now, if we look at England, if we look at Britain, same thing. We look at the Bahamas, we look at not Nigeria, France, we look at Germany, we look at several other countries, actually most countries throughout the world, they have a unitary system. They have one central government that controls it all. It's not divided up. Very efficient. Then you have the federal system, which works by having two or more sovereign governments. Remember, sovereign is overall authority. Sharing power within a country, usually in a federal system, a strong central government exists that controls the interactions between the individual and regional governments and international relations between itself and other countries. The individual regional governments have control over the people within their territories. The central government has no ability to impose itself upon the regional governments without prior authority, which is the Constitution, or permission from any individual regional government. The regional governments have no ability to impose themselves upon the central government without prior authority, which is the Constitution, it's repeating, or permission from the central government. This sharing of power is very inefficient when implementing government policy. This inefficiency is purposely created to prevent any one government overpowering the sovereignty of the other. That's why it seems to you when Washington acts passing a bill or try to make a change, you don't feel it. Because when Washington passes a bill, passes a law, that's a federal law. Doesn't give a damn in the states. If the federal government wants to apply that law to the state, what must it do? What must it do? Do we send troops out? What must the federal government do in order to apply a federal law to the state? If I were to come up to you and I wanted to touch your shoulder, what would I have to do first?
Ask.
Exactly. I have to ask your permission.
Unless you want to get smooth.
Okay.
Same situation. Constitutionally. So in order for a federal law to be imposed upon a state, the federal government has to say, hey, Oklahoma, why don't you give these people their civil rights? Or there's another way to give them their civil rights that the state will say, yes. And we're about to find out. I'll keep that up there for a second because my girl's writing longhand right there. Remember, at the end of the day, when we go over this, sovereignty, authority, power is everything. And whoever controls whatever within their territory, that's what they want to control. No matter what. Ooh, that just lit up. No, that's been kind of tight all morning. Kind of felt like I was 53. Confederate systems of government. A confederation is a system of government where individual countries have agreed to create a weakened central government controlled by individual countries for the purpose of social, military, or economic security. Two good examples of a confederation are the European Union and the United Arab Emirates. The countries within a confederation have the authority to control all activities within their country, maintain a military, and engage in international relations with other countries. The central governments have the authority to regulate those areas that the member countries allow it to regulate. So when we talk about a confederation in which the United States once was under the Articles of Confederation, the individual states or countries involved in the federation are in control. They set the rules. However, what authority they give to the central government, that's what the central government dishes out. This is disappearing because of the same problem that's happening in the United States right now, which I'm slowly alluding to. Most of the countries, especially the European Confederation, is beginning to give up their sovereignty to the central governments and would rather be more controlled by the central government than themselves. They've given up their military and replaced the European Union military and NATO. They've even given up their currency to the euro. They are embracing integration more and more. I would say within 100 years, the European Union will be more like the United States of Europe, because all the countries will be absorbed into something like a federal system we have. Cool. You're probably, who knows? It's Thursday.
Yeah. I forgot what type of government that you talked about, but there was one where you said that like the people, some of the people like, get tired of making choices on their own. I forgot what.
That's a
type of
democracy.
government.
That's a pure democracy, yeah. They get tired of their choices, making the choices, and they give up power to someone else, a dictator. And that's what happens. And that's something we were talking about in my office about an hour ago with Charlton and a couple other people.
That man always talk.
Well, there's some things that we're seeing, trends in this country we're seeing. And there's some numbers behind it. And we're thinking that unless something's halts it, we may be in for a rough time. Federalism, Chapter 3, power hoarding and power sharing. The 10th Amendment. The power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. So the Constitution, how federalism works, comes into two parts. Article 4 and the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment gives the state its powers to do almost anything they want to. The only thing that bars the states from doing anything they want to is the US Constitution. And of course, the 14th Amendment, which was discussed in the Supreme Court today, and I digress a little far. But it gives states their power to govern, but it also gives all of you individually the power to govern yourselves. So say if you own land or you own your home, that is your sovereign territory. You have every right to do everything you want to in order to govern that home. Only difference is you have to abide by all the laws above you, and of course the Constitution. So if somebody came into Brooklyn's home, say a friend, and she overstayed her welcome, Brooklyn has every right to say, get the hell out of my home. You have the right to say, get the hell out of my home.
Be nice about it in the
And say, well, I ain't leaving his house, you make me leave. That's okay. 12-gauge shotgun can work, or you call the cops. I mean, regardless, it is your home because the Constitution protects your life, your liberty, and your property. And you have every right to do, you have every sovereign right to do what you want to within the law with your life, your liberty. Constitutional powers. Constitutional powers are either enumerated, means they are listed in the Constitution, They are implied powers that are not listed in the Constitution, but assume that the Constitution provides. And they are concurrent powers, powers that both the federal and state government have. Both the federal and state government has the right to tax people. They have the right to create police forces. Both the federal and state government has the right to create schools, banks, to regulate traffic, to regulate goods and services. The states have that right within their state, and the federal government has that right between two or more states. Those are concurrent powers. Gonna give my girl a little moment here. Oh, you already seen it? You already got it done?
Yes.
Okay. And there are reserved powers. Powers granted to the states by the 10th Amendment of the Constitution. Those are the powers strictly that all states have. The states have the right to discriminate against you, no matter what. Yet the 14th Amendment prevents certain levels of discrimination. However, if the state wants to discriminate against you, saying all girls with curly hair and braids can't vote, they can do that.
Well, I thought they can because of the,
19th Amendment,
no, because the one thing they.
Oh,
equal thing,
the Civil Rights Act of 1964, everybody has equal rights.
no, the little.
No,
Equal
you're-
equality thing they just took away.
The equality thing?
Hmm.
You mean,
The diversity,
Oh,
thing,
which-
don't that gotta do with something? The diversity thing.
Yeah.
oh, for the state of Oklahoma? Yeah.
Can't they say that?
Yeah, the diversity. Well, that's an example of that. Because most states do have a diversity department, allow for diversity in different government offices. State of Oklahoma took that away. Because it doesn't seem that diversity is important to them, because as according to our governor in the state address, the governor says we are well diverse in the state government and in our state, and diversity office is not needed in this state. We don't have discrimination in this state. My girl looked up and said, huh? That's what your governor said yesterday.
That's a lot.
Don't even get me started on that man.
That's what your governor said yesterday, that there's no discrimination or anything like that in this state.
Maybe
If
towards.
you don't lie, at least make it believe it.
If y'all still got modern day slavery.
And I
Yes.
So much more.
And I feel like that's why they took it away, so they can like try to egg that back.
What do you expect from like a middle-aged woman?
Because think
You don't
about it,
have
if you have a diversity office where you have somebody on different campuses or different government areas observing certain things that happen or receiving reports of any form of discrimination, what kind of position does that put the state in? Right, because if you have that reported to someone and nothing is followed up with the state is liable. The state has to pay. But if you get rid of the
Just take
diversity
it.
department, that saves you possibly millions of dollars, because we ain't gonna follow up on it. Why should we? Our state for us.
That's who they voted in.
Yep,
I have a question.
yes, ma'am.
Did you give an example of, the implied powers?
No, but I can give you one. This is easy. Does Congress have the right to regulate that?
Your phones?
Yeah.
Yes,
Why?
because like, oh,
Huh?
it's like, once you get the line, you know, it's open to, the world,
But why?
even though it's like not said.
Where does it say in the Constitution has every right to regulate funds?
Oh, like, it's supposed to be like, supposedly they protected us by regulating our phones.
Well, in what is called in Article 1 of the Constitution, there's called a necessary clause. it says Congress can do whatever is necessary and proper in order to regulate interstate commerce. So this didn't exist when the United States was created. That's an implied power, Article 1. So under that clause, which is implied, that Congress has every right to regulate anything that has any form of interstate commerce. Well, you can't not regulate this unless you regulate interstate commerce, because airwaves or wire or whatever goes through multiple states. So because of that implied position in the Constitution, Congress has every right to regulate cell phones or any form of telecommunication. That's one form, an example of implied power. Another one is Congress has every right to create laws that are about the same or equal to state laws, such as murder, kidnapping, anything like that, because anything that occurs between two or more states, the federal government can get involved, and the federal government must regulate anything that happens like that. That's only implied what is necessary and proper. And that's why we pass laws that look just like state law. Just for those people who like to go across different states. Now, how many of you young ladies are under the age of 20? Let me see your hand. There is something called the Mann Act. Have y'all ever heard of that? Oh, thank you, Jesus. Oh, I need that. That means an older man, say 30-ish and older, were to take you across state lines. And your parents, even though you may be over 18, felt like you were in danger, that person would have committed a felony by taking a young woman against her will, or possibly against her will, across two or more states.
So he gonna get in trouble if it was against my will.
No, if your parents thinks it's against your will,
If
right?
your parents think.
So what if I said it's not against my will?
So what, you still could face 5 years.
Right,
In
so
federal prison.
even though we technically,
Federal law,
Mhm.
like in real life?
Yeah.
Here.
So if I say.
It's called the Mann Act.
But I'm like,
even though we 18,
Right,
your parents still can, that's crazy.
your parents can still do it.
Well, say you're 21.
Yeah.
So when y'all did this back then, when, you know, celebrities would see a.
They still do it now.
Well, I know, but even back then, it was like, the parents didn't care, because it was like, they were like,
Some parents did,
some did, but like, they were still getting that money, so they didn't really care.
but some parents did, and what they do, they call the police. The police would have the federal authorities involved, track you down, don't care if you're over 18. Arrest that dude and send you home. And convict that dude. Get 5 years for taking a young woman across state lines to be with him. Because the parents think you're in danger, or think you persuaded the tender mind of a woman to go with.
So then like, let's say. That was to happen and they take the lady home, like to her parents,
Right,
but like,
she runs away still,
yeah.
happens all the time, and still he gonna get convicted.
But they obviously see it was her choice, like,
Don't
it's not
care.
like.
And that's what I was gonna say, like, not
That's
even him
wild.
getting, I'm just
Fair.
confused, like, how do you bring a grown woman home to her parents, like she.
Right.
Like, she already grown.
I'm like, you're
Yeah.
talking about 19.
You old enough to get
Right.
convicted, but you're not old enough to leave your house underneath your.
Right, we old enough to vote, but we're
And my
not
parents
old
can't
enough.
make
That's
me stay
crazy.
legally.
And that's
Like-
even, sorry to cut you off, but even, that's even with like a verbal evidence, like her saying like, oh no, I went by my own will.
Yes, the only thing that does is just feed the case properly, it says that he took you.
That's so weird.
I think that's back.
Cause like the parents don't even have to keep the daughter if she's like 18 or 19.
No,
They just don't got.
but he's gonna get 5 years.
That's
That's even
crazy.
get taxes on you, but.
So that you
They
don't
thank you after you.
You piss your parents off one time.
That's right.
You piss your parents off one time.
And see, and this law is still in the books today.
And you said it's a felony? Oh, no.
So, like, my 19-year-old daughter, she has a boyfriend in Texas.
Period. I want,
That's the problem with me, he's from Texas. But,
Is it
She-
Cowboys fan?
huh?
Is it Cowboys fan?
That's the only thing that saved his life.
oh, okay, I was gonna be like,
That's
I was like,
the only
get rid
thing that
of
saved
the
his
whole
life.
man.
Because when he rolled up into the house the first time and he had cowboy stuff on him, like,
No,
No.
no, absolutely not.
that's my dude.
Absolutely not.
And we were talking about cowboys all the time, she got pissed off. I ain't been able to talk to me, and you, I said, this is my boy right here. And I said, and I told him straight up, I'm jeopardizing everything with you because we connect. You know how they are. Anyway,
Don't do that.
but I know he was planning to take her down to Texas. He goes to University of Dallas, it's a Catholic. And I didn't necessarily want it because the possibility of thinking, I taught my daughter what to do. Fine, but let's just say if she decided to just go off with him, I did not like him, and he goes down to Dallas. That's over interstate lines. Only thing I had to do is call the police. The police would found him down in Dallas, and it would become a federal charge under the Mann Act.
So would it be a missing persons case or would it be?
Would be considered a form of kidnapping.
It was 30? You let your daughter date a 30-year-old, she was 19?
My daughter's 19, she likes older men.
Me too,
I do too, but like,
I
I kind of cap it off in a few years.
My daughter likes older men. This young man, this young man, he's in the Air Force. He is E5.
You don't find that like,
I checked this, I checked his ass out.
okay, but see, I'm 20 and if somebody 30 try to get at me, that's like still pushing, that's 10 years of difference. As a grown man, what do you see in someone 20? We can't go get a drink, we can't do anything, like,
Because-
all the same.
Because believe it or not, sometimes, one thing I've learned in life is this, sometimes, certain qualities, that people want in a mate, may be a difference between 10 years, like that. Plus, women are more mature than men at 19.
Some,
And at 30.
but not all.
I know, and I understand your
But in
reservation.
the cases that, that the female isn't mature, what would you say about that?
12 is the most.
I will call the cops.
Okay, but like she, they can say,
Especially my daughter is. I ain't worried about her, I'm not worried about her,
we know.
because the things I told her, she could probably go to prison
She know how to
for the
shoot
rest of her life if he did anything wrong. If you know what
She know how to shoot a gun.
I mean. And she carried a 9mm with her.
That's a.
At least she be.
She knows that, she knows Taekwondo.
Oh, okay.
She has-
You set her up,
She has
right?
a black belt. I ain't worried about her.
Right, he set her up, right?
I ain't worried about her because if he does something, I know what's gonna happen, I'm gonna have to bail her out. So I ain't worried. But the fact is, if I had a daughter that I would be worried about, and a 30-year-old guy just took her down there, and I'm concerned, my daughter hasn't been talking to me, blah, 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 blah. I call the authorities, they find him down there, charge his ass under the Mann Act, felony, 5 years, mandatory.
Does that make you like, sex offender?
Now, they haven't upgraded it to sex offender, but you could probably get on the registry for that, so that's how you do it.
This, federal law called the men something.
The Mann Act.
The Mann Act, if a female 18, under the age of 21, goes across state lines with a man that's like 30
older.
or older,
They can go
it could be considered kidnapping and it's a felony charge if your parents file it, even if the like child is like, oh, I willingly went. If your parents say that it was like, you know, you wasn't approved of that, it could be a felony.
Yes.
And it's 5 years, 5 years mandatory.
Of 16 is regardless, it's kidnapping, like,
Right.
they can't willingly go anywhere.
But 18 year.
Yeah,
you're
adult.
Right. That was.
That's what we're talking about. It's 18, you're an adult, but.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but.
Now just think, all you women, when you turn 18, y'all can go to the military and fight and die.
Can't drink, can't smoke.
Oh, you could with military ID.
What?
Wait, you can do that
Under
I thought you could only drink with a military ID, you can't.
that, yeah, no, you can drink and smoke with a military ID. If you're 18, you join the military, you can go to a liquor store, show your military ID, and give you liquor.
now?
So that makes.
Because you're military, you can go out and die for us,
Yeah,
you're allowed to have a drink.
That makes sense.
You should get like a.
If she has
This
military
like
ID.
everything. I rather.
Yeah, once you join the military, you get a level of rights that a lot of people.
So they don't look at your age, oh, you in the
No,
military?
they look at your rank like, ooh, yeah, hell yeah, you gonna fight for us, shit, yeah, get all the liquor, how much?
Of course.
It doesn't matter, like,
Liquor.
what branch of the military you serving, like, if you
No,
just have.
if it's like military, army, like.
Only thing you have to do says, I swear to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. It's all in
It's the
this
accent.
bond.
It's really that. That's even.
Once you put that right in and give that oath, they give you that ID after they put you through 8 to 13 weeks of hell.
Yep, 3 months.
Then take your ass to the liquor store.
Shit.
But
You
yes,
don't get an ID until after boot camp.
but yes, if you are under the age of 21 and this dude is 30, he takes you across state lines and Miss Spivey, you're my daughter and I'm thinking you're in danger and you didn't tell me about this dude. I'll call the police, we arrest him, bring your ass home,
Crazy.
and then he gets 5 years.
And immediately.
It don't be five.
Immediately a felon.
No, it's not kidnapping.
Who uses that?
It's not,
I remember hearing about
A
this.
lot of cases,
You endangered and they become people.
especially now, yes.
So like, what if like somebody like a female
Mhm.
with like just evil intent, like, let's just say they wanna like put mad people in jail and they just keep doing it to people that they don't like,
Doesn't matter, he took her across state line.
what if they keep picking like different people within the same age group? They
Still pick and still cross state line,
So where is she with a new boy every week?
doesn't matter.
They gonna be arrested every.
No.
But that's like the only thing.
Because remember, the Mann Act was created back in the 60s.
Yeah,
So it
they were just
doesn't
forgot
matter,
to be.
yes, sir.
You can still be in the same state, so you could be in California, you could be in like San Diego. And then go all the way up to San Francisco or even farther up north.
No, doesn't apply within the state, because within the state, remember, it's state law.
Yeah, but isn't that, it's
That's what
harder,
it's
like, it's like,
Okay.
But when you go to, say if you decide to go to Utah or Nevada or something like that, then it's federal law because you went from one state to another, and that's what.
Like Oklahoma to Texas, that's a different state, even though it's like 2 hours.
You know what's
now.
crazy?
So.
I was talking to the FBI yesterday. That's crazy.
And they follow up on those cases.
Cause they were bringing up cases like.
They follow up on cases like that. They trace you down for man. They will do an internet search to find out who you went with.
Yeah, they will.
So,
Those that's.
yeah,
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Cause I had a friend, she's in high school, she did that.
they have a system called Carnivore.
Once you on her, you on her. Carnivore?
Yeah, Carnivore. It's a badass system. Talk about a data mining system from hell, and they will find
Not my.
everything that you put online, ever.
Go get my man or something.
Even if you think you distorted your picture and everything, they will find it and decipher it and know it's you. They have systems that are just crazy as hell. And don't think of, what you call, one of these lines, the VSP lines that you have, which gives you this protection.
Oh, they
No,
can.
no, they can get it.
VPN,
the VPN, right?
Mm.
They can get through that encryption easy. Actually, the only thing they need is your telephone.
That's sad.
That's all.
Yeah, because every telephone number is connected to an IP address, and on that, they can decode it.
yeah, everything.
The Carnivore, now the version of Carnivore that I last saw them update to is the 5th version of it.
You think that's better than the black one?
No?
It's better than the black one?
Much
I mean, you can even get like them little Walmart throwaway phone things.
Well,
Like,
the
they,
black ones can be
better.
tracked,
They all have GPS.
like the little flip phone
even
can be
video
tracked.
phones, take with the
Flip phones,
They all have GPS.
anything with a, what's it called, cord, right? Can
Oh,
be tracked.
telephone?
Like a SIM card.
Mhm.
So I need trap on.
And remember,
We track.
remember what's happening now? There are digital SIM cards in there now, so you
Oh, yeah,
don't have to
right.
have the physical ones anymore.
yeah, right.
You don't have to have the physical ones now.
I don't even gotta say
Yeah.
that.
So, but yes, so if you have a dude who's over 30 and he takes you across state lines and your parents don't like him, that's an option for them. Call the cops.
My parents never did that to me.
Yes, it's Josiah.
I'm gonna tell my
What
mom
if it's
about
like
that.
relative, I put that in quotes, like a step, grandpa, or
Or like dad. Oh God, is
You
that,
know,
like someone like way
People get
older.
kidnapped by their older cousins all the time.
yep, and it still
Yeah.
applies at the
A lot of
parent.
uncles,
why is that
step
family?
parents.
They just nasty, they let that shit.
Yeah, I ain't watching.
You don't know what kind of kinky stuff your family do.
Yeah, I get that, but
Her
like,
Well,
own
I'm
dad
trying to touch
kidnapped her in her own
What?
basement.
Yeah.
Yo, what?
Her own dad.
Oh, that movie?
Yeah.
Yes, that movie was good.
Like,
Girl in the basement. Girl in the basement.
Yeah, Girl in the Basement. It's so good.
I watched it.
I didn't know, you know, I'm like, get out the street,
But listen what you guys talking about.
It's also on Hulu too.
All of this applies to this, cause this is legit. Shit. So when you do that. So I'm telling you ladies right now, if y'all find a dude that's over 30 and you're under 21, make sure your parents like him. Because the moment you go across state lines,
Or wait a few years.
or wait a few years,
It's her 22nd birthday.
yes,
Not 22nd.
no, wait until you turn 21 in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know one day.
Yes, 21 in one
Don't
day.
do it at 12, at 11:59 on the 20th.
Just wait at the hotel. I'm just gonna be real, we know what happened.
I'm just serious sometimes.
And you know what? And a lot of these guys get convicted because it's pregnant. And parents have used the Mann Act for that reason where their daughters went across state lines with these other guys, had sex.
will they make that right then?
No, because it's former Mann Act.
And she's older than 16, so it's not statutory rape. It's
Right, but it's consensual, but it's under the Mann Act, so it's federal violation.
Look at the age in jail.
And since she's pregnant, the parents don't like it,
Now you gotta show.
they charge him under the Mann Act, he gets fired.
Raise your child too.
Exactly. Now, you would never put him in jail.
And now you a felon, and now
Nah.
you, it's gonna be real hard to find a job.
Then
You don't get no free
He's
education. Now you can't vote no more.
And depending on the parents, they either abort it or have the baby adopted.
You can't abort nothing.
You
No,
know, my
you
body,
can go
ain't do nothing to me.
You gonna get me,
But wait, I thought with the kids, it's like, if
Yeah.
you come, if they find out in Oklahoma, you can get in trouble.
Yes. Because find out, if you go to Kansas, get it done, you come back to Oklahoma, they can charge it.
So when you go back to Texas, they can charge you still?
Wait.
How do they find out? That's what I want.
If you go to Kansas, they get.
But I feel like
I
that's.
mean, that's why I never do a different time.
Yeah, go to jail, baby.
But I feel like, well, why do they make sure where it's like that? Like, why do they give us the option to go to another state and get an abortion?
No one's giving you that option. You're just choosing to take that option.
Okay, but then why is that, why can't we do that?
That's not.
Because you're a legal resident in Oklahoma.
So,
So Canada is a legal resident of Oklahoma, California. Huh?
Can a parent tell me?
Yes.
That's not what they
Anybody can do an anonymous call.
Go ahead.
From from Kansas.
Okay,
You guys,
Do it again.
let's go back to the 1970s. No, Roe v. Wade. Now, when Miss Roe got pregnant. Talking about Roe v. Wade, how that case started. how she got pregnant. She was married, but she got pregnant by someone else. And she went to a different state, had this baby, had an abortion, and came back. And no one knew, and she told her friend. Her friend
It just need to be.
told her husband.
Ooh.
Her husband was a police officer.
First of all, why did
He,
Why you know my business?
he turned it in,
No,
had her arrested,
I would never send that.
and had the man who was pregnant himself.
See,
Because he paid for the abortion.
see.
Why would you tell your friend that?
Because y'all talk to your friend.
Okay, no. That, like, very, very.
Yeah,
personal, like,
you keep to yourself.
That's sales.
So one of the reasons why Roe v. Wade did go through Supreme
Oh,
Court
Jesus.
muster at that time is because it was an interstate issue. But when they overturned it again, the states, a lot of the states had those same old laws on the books. Texas modified its law, and Oklahoma modified its law, so if you go to another state, you have an abortion, you come back and authorities find out, you can be charged for that abortion.
So what if I lost my leg?
They charge murder.
I think, you can get at least 2 years.
Oh.
So they're not gonna charge you with murder.
Oh, you can do 2 years in prison?
I'm not, I just said that's nothing compared to what you can get for like killing a child and all that other stuff.
I thought that was
2 years is
considered
like-
murder.
Like you're literally killing a child,
Yeah.
that's not for them. And then going to jail
Right.
for 2 years.
But see, that's how different states work. Remember, Oklahoma works that way, Texas works that way, Arkansas works that way. Louisiana sure as hell works.
Hell, show it.
So like, what if you, don't live here, like you're a resident somewhere where it's legal
Okay,
and you, okay,
you,
let's just say you from Colorado, whatever.
okay, go
Come
and
here,
get
you
it.
get pregnant with the whoop, you go back home,
Uh-huh.
get an abortion, and you come back here.
You're not an Oklahoma resident.
You were, right, so I'll be cool, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then, so.
Because you didn't
you're a
live
resident in that state.
Yeah, but if you're an Oklahoma resident and you go to Colorado or Kansas or somewhere and get it done, and come back and nobody finds out.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
two. And that's not considered murder.
That's not considered murder, but it's having an unlawful.
Bruh, they so backwards.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if this is what y'all was just talking about, cause I was not paying attention, but, so you can be a legal resident in more than one state, right?
Yes.
Okay, so say that I'm
That's
a
the
legal resident in more than one state, I'm from California, I'm a legal resident here in Oklahoma too.
Okay,
I get pregnant here in Oklahoma and everything like that, but I go to California to get an abortion.
yeah, you can be charged because you're a legal resident.
But you're also a legal resident where it's not.
Doesn't matter.
But
You're
you
still a
think
legal
George,
resident.
wait, what the?
Do you get arrested in Oklahoma and
Yes.
come back?
No, you can get arrested in Oklahoma for it. So she came back to Oklahoma where her legal resident is. And somebody finds out, turns her in, she can get arrested here.
Even if I'm a legal resident too in California?
Uh-huh.
So then what if I get pregnant in California and get an abortion there then?
Then that's the vagueness of the law. But the fact is that you're also a legal resident in Oklahoma, they can charge you.
Well, the fact
And
that
then-
somebody snitch on you, you fuck, the end.
But yes, even though it's weird and never looks like that, but yes, they can do that because you're a legal Oklahoma resident.
Would they go by
Just
which
like
blood
this.
first?
It's just like, no.
Should they go by which blood first? Or just like that?
They go by the fact that you are a legal resident of that state.
That's
Really?
great.
That's really true.
The doctor that did the procedure.
So I will tell you,
They might.
when you do something like that, that's that controversial, keep it to yourself as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because you may tell your best friend, who may take it to her grave, however, you know what, she loves her husband, or she loves her best friend, other best friend, who's a woman, who happened to be a cop. Or who may know a cop. And depending on the cop, they can choose to act or not. And that's
What if somebody knew and
a
they didn't say
reserve
nothing?
power. Huh?
What if somebody knew and they didn't say nothing?
You're gonna
Do they get in
call
trouble?
me, let's hear it
You be quiet, you don't got to everybody else.
But see, that's a reserve power of the state. The states can do that. They have every right to do that. That's why up in the state of Texas, they sit on the border of Colorado waiting for people to drive over that border because people are gonna have weed. That's why they wait on the border of Oklahoma, because people are traveling with weed, because that weed is not legal in Texas. That's why they pull people over the moment they come through that border from Oklahoma, Colorado.
But they have to have a reason to get pulled over first, right? Technically, no, like,
You know what?
I can't just.
You're swerving,
Either you think a line say some shit like that, you wasn't.
or your turn signal is not working, or you did an illegal lane change. That gives you all. All of you who drive, how often do you use your signal light to change lanes?
Every time.
Never
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I refuse to give one phone signal like, I refuse.
Get over. Okay, so like, I've seen videos, so like, let's say in a situation like that, I get pulled over for something, they said I did something like real basic, like you said, change lanes without signal,
Right.
and I didn't.
Right.
I didn't do that.
Right.
So like, you know how people be having the dash cams in their car?
Right,
But I'm like already, but I'm like already pulled over.
right,
So can I be like, basically what I'm asking is like, can I show them the footage and be like, no, you can't write me a ticket right now? Or they would still have to write the ticket and then I can take that to court?
right, and go to court.
And then if they don't show the court.
Right, and even if they find weed on you and all that stuff, all that's fruit of the poisonous tree.
Yeah, cause they, put
Yeah,
that-
because they did an illegal search,
Not for.
because that would be considered illegal, everything's illegal after that. And trust me, it happens.
I was up at two in the morning watching dash cam videos, people crashing and shit. Not okay after that. I wasn't.
I want dash.
So when it
so
comes
bad.
to like speeding tickets and whatnot, like, cause I've been to court over a stupid ass speeding ticket, like, they be saying like 5, okay, so you can go 5 over the speed limit, right?
Right,
But when you get the ticket, they be saying, they have like a little marking, it be like 5 to like 10 miles an hour, or
Right.
like 10 to 50, it's like every 5 increments.
right.
To what extent is it like reasonable speeding, if that makes sense?
5 miles over,
Over 5?
that's it.
But you can still get a ticket for going 5.
Yeah, but most likely they'll just give you a warning, but it also depends on the state, Oklahoma's 5. Texas, they'll let you go up to 7.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Texas lets you go over 6.
Crazy drivers, I like.
I would never drive to Texas ever.
Only thing I say, go down I-35 in Texas. And you're doing 80 miles per hour. Watch DPS pass you like you just standing still and everybody else is zooming past
Yeah, you can go 80. Like,
Yeah.
if you on the side of the highway, I'm going like, let's say the speed limit is 75. I like to go 5 over, so I'm going 80, might go 81. The people on the side are going 95.
No, I'm
like, you just not gonna hit them, like, they just chilling, so it's like.
you. Hey, and it also depends on the discretion of the officer.
Yeah, thank you.
Because at that time of day, it's like, oh, I ain't doing this, I'm about to get off, I ain't gonna die.
in his donut in his coffee.
Yeah, that's what it could be. It could be drinking a Starbucks right. Like, I'll get y'all in a minute,
Post it up, chill.
I'll do that.
Get your.
All right.
They gonna be wrong.
The different eras of American federalism. You have dual federalism from 1789 to 1933. Cooperative federalism from 1933 to 1963. Centralized federalism from 1964 to 1980. And new federalism from 1981 to 2002. Then you have ad hoc federalism, which is today.
Hey, I was born that year.
Those are the different eras of federalism. Dual federalism basically is when the United States government and the state governments just went their own way. They didn't even interact with each other. Cooperative federalism started during the Great Depression, and that's when the federal government started to impose more on the states. They were giving states money for social programs. This is where your civil rights are beginning to be affected. Because if it wasn't for the cooperative federalism period, there wouldn't be something called grants and aid. Grants and aid is something that the federal government gets every state to do certain things. They have category grants, which goes to specific projects, block grants, which they give them money to do any things, or revenue sharing, which starts in 2037, thanks to President Obama, which they share part of the overall tax revenue. But if it wasn't for block grants, your civil rights wouldn't be protected, because the federal government put a provision when they passed the 1964 Civil Rights Act and the 1972 amendments to it, which is Title IX for women. And in order for the states to receive their annual percentage of money, you got to enact civil rights laws in your state.
So block grants protect the civil rights.
Yes. So the states didn't just adopt civil rights because they love y'all. They adopted civil rights because the federal government paid off the states to do it. That's it. That's legit. So your civil rights came at the expense of the American taxpayer. That's why you're protected. That's why you can do everything else. But guess what happens? Let's say if the federal government takes that money away or the state refuses that money. Within the interpretation of the Constitution, the states can revert back and discriminate against you. There is nothing preventing the states from doing that. So for as long as a state is receiving federal money, they will protect your civil rights. It's that easy. They will keep Title IX so women can have equal access to education. Isn't that crazy?
You said as long as the state receives federal money, you're what?
They will protect your civil rights under the 1964 Civil Rights Act because the states have enacted laws because they needed federal money for it. And they will keep Title IX alive. But like our state Department of Education person, he wants to give federal money back to the federal government and keep it out of the education department of the state. So he doesn't have to follow Title IX or certain other federal provisions in it.
Ain't y'all's education already low? Like, why the fuck y'all
Yeah,
take it away?
yes, and according to him, he says that's the reason why it's mixed up, because we're accepting federal money.
No, it's because y'all not giving enough, that's why.
Well, he wants to stop all federal money coming into our education system, so we no longer have to follow the provisions of Title IX. He said that directly, Walters.
So I don't take away that don't even
He
make
wants
sense.
to take away the provisions of
Don't
Title
make
IX.
sense.
He says Title IX has prevented a lot of schools from doing the things they need to do.
Okay, but
Okay.
don't Title IX also protect?
Yeah, we got how many more years left?
Protects women, will allow women to have equal access to education, that's what Title IX does.
Okay, but what is it blocking people?
When he said that over a year ago, I'm still trying to figure out what's blocking people there. The only thing I see
Is
that
it
it may be blocking is that certain things or this that would normally go into men's sports or educational function. That's the only thing that is blocking, but since Title IX asks for equality on it, it goes to women and men equal. That's the only thing. So
Who
I'm.
said it?
um,
Who said it?
State superintendent, Walters,
Yeah,
that dude, your friend,
yeah.
yeah, you know, the Stitter's friend, and yes. He has about, what, 2 more years in his term, but guess what he's gonna run for in 2 years?
I swear if you
Don't say president.
No,
No,
governor, like,
governor.
Don't say nothing like that.
He's running for governor.
and by that, no, we'll still be in school.
No,
It'll be around November of 25.
25, yeah.
Okay, so y'all can vote. I'm just letting you know, y'all can vote, y'all go to school here, y'all can vote, please vote.
And he's already said if he becomes governor, is gonna make sure the state does not accept federal dollars. So they don't have to abide by certain federal provisions.
So what, how they gonna fill in like that funding for the schools and stuff, they can go ahead
He says he has a plan.
And there's people who support this.
Oh, a lot.
It's Oklahoma, sorry.
I feel like,
We're talking about a large
I feel
number.
like 9 times out of 10, when we say we gonna handle it, they try to get money from other states and see if they gonna help us.
You know, what's gonna happen is, though, especially a lot of coalition that follows him, they've wanted the Civil Rights Act and Title IX, things like that gone decades ago. If you stop accepting federal money,
They don't have that.
they don't have to follow it. Now, my question is, Oklahoma gets $20 billion a year. So what are we gonna do without that 20 billion?
No, for real.
Exactly, imagine if our ecosystem pay taxes for that or anything goes down.
Well, taxes may have to go up because I don't see how they're gonna even fund the highway patrol.
You don't, so we can speed.
Right, because
So what is it, are we getting closer to, what's it called, what did we learn the other day?
They're really trying to kill us all.
anarchy,
State of nature.
state of nature, which is anarchy, and that looks like it's getting pretty damn close. I know my girl over here from California is probably like, you fools are crazy in the state.
Yes. California was expensive.
I would rather live in a place that's a little bit more expensive and use my money
Like,
to help and have the services that I want and to protect my rights than a place that is trying to take away my rights to live as a free citizen. Well, liberty anyway.
It ain't no crazy.
I know I'm not a free citizen. Questions, comments, statements? Yes, ma'am.
So, the unitary government, how is that? Okay, so the federal government does not have control over
Mistakes.
the states here.
Mhm.
But in the United Kingdom,
Right,
the federal government has control over
everything.
everything, okay?
That's-
And you could never see that happening here?
No. Oh, hell no. Actually, it would be another civil war.
yeah, that's like,
That's one of the main reasons why the Civil War was fought, other than slavery, was that reason. Because they felt that the United States was coming into a unitary system and we didn't want that. Fine. No one was doing that, that was just an excuse. But the fact is, each individual state, especially Texas, come on, let's be clear, y'all, Texas. Texas wouldn't have,
No, they're not. That's for sure.
Texas wouldn't. Oklahoma wouldn't allow. Colorado sure as hell wouldn't do it. California wouldn't. New York wouldn't. So what else did y'all learn today, for the last couple of days from this? It's all kind of messed up.
Don't go to Kansas and get in the bush.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned today.
Keep your mouth shut.
Be careful dating older people.
Yes.
Don't date anybody older than 30, like, why are you dating people older than 30?
Hey,
Because
everybody
you
got
do
their,
that.
yeah, everybody got their preferences, but it's,
Because you
they don't
do
blow my boat
I
up.
think that's a high value man.
Oh, yeah, I have a couple. Can you give me a sample of the monarch?
I didn't hear a
The monarch again?
The best example of a monarch is what we see in England, what we see in Spain. There's a king, queen, prince, princesses, a royal family. That's a monarchy. Yes, Spain has a royal family. Germany still has a royal family. Luxembourg, Belgium, but they're all constitutional monarchies or they have zero power. Monaco has a royal family. But when we go to countries in the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, those are royal families and they have power. They have serious. They have God power. They have God power.
Wait, in the monarchy has gone down?
Yes, that's because people consider them God. Because God has blessed them to rule our country. That's how monarchies look. And they change power through inheritance. So I'm the king, all of you are my children, right? All of you are my natural children. I die. You get a part of the country, you get a part of the country, you all get a part of that country. And you get to rule it the way you want. And then let's say all of you begin to die off. And the one who is left, rule it all. And if she or he has an heir, that person rules it. For as long as it stays in the bloodline, you're part of the royal family, and that's monarchy. You get to rule, just because you were born. You gotta love that. So simple. So crazy. So North Korea almost. Any questions? Any questions on the Mann Act? You got it very clear. Stay away from 30-year-olds.
I'm not staying away, but thanks.
Are you under 21? Stay away from 30-year-olds. Stay away from,
It was like the hooks.
stay away from the high value brothers because they're 30. Because they have money. Stay away from them. That,
That's
Everybody forward.
no, remember, back in the, I don't know, you guys were children at the time. But remember when Kobe Bryant ran into trouble, in Colorado that time with that person? That was the issue, the Mann Act. Because she went from California to Colorado
For him.
with him.
Okay, with that F line. I thought she went like for him, not him, like together.
No, she was with him.
Would it be
Now,
the same thing if they go?
it wasn't like they were holding hands, but she was on the flight. And so basically, it looked like he escorted her up there. So the parents, when they got involved up there, when she made all that hay, that's what they were gonna charge him with, the federal command.
Wow, that's crazy.
So that was the big thing about that, because if the family went through that, he would have been charged with that, and yeah, he'd have been convicted and would have gotten 5 years.
How old was he at the time?
I think he had just turned 30.
Good.
And she was 19 or 20. Yeah, so it was just right there, so. Then it stopped because Kobe had settled with the family. I wonder how much he settled with the family.
A lot.
And then he bought his girlfriend at the time. Eventually became his wife, a $3 million engagement ring.
3 million, god damn.
He had my dad's for a
Okay.
Okay.
That's the one that I apologize, you think?
It's a small way to.
No, we wouldn't be, I'll still be wrong with it.
That is.
He gave you a $3 million engagement ring.
You know,
I'm gonna take it and then I'm gonna be like, what's up? What else? How are you gonna fix this?
I need some more.
Well,
No, fuck the.
well, remember, it
material
took her
stuff.
2 more years after that before they got married.
Exactly.
And
Gotta prove
then, of
yourself.
course,
Oh,
everything was cool after that.
Here.
But remember, names were coming out of people who involved like Shaq and a couple of others.
not you rich for that one.
Huh?
Not you rich for that one.
Let's just say there was a lot of Lakers involved
Wow.
in that.
Not too much of the Lakers.
We talking about football, for basketball players.
So this was, so there was a lot of money passing back and forth because of that situation.
And they wonder why they was.
You know.
That's why that didn't.
But that,
would never.
but at that time, that was the thing that was hanging over everybody, was the federal
You're not
money.
attractive, but hey,
I don't like.
you still got the
So
house.
basically, how.
You still have that.
The act.
Yeah.
The man has to basically travel